From the vantage point of space, astronauts have famously described this archipelago as the most beautiful place on Earth. It is a splash of turquoise paint on a canvas of deep indigo, a fragmented paradise scattered across 100,000 square miles of the Atlantic Ocean. This is not the Caribbean. This is the Lucayan Archipelago. This is the Bahamas. Comprising over 700 islands and 2,400 cays, the Bahamas is more than just a destination. It is a geological wonder. It is a nation where the water is so clear, it feels like floating on air, and where history is buried beneath the sands and hidden in the limestone caves. From the bustling streets of Nassau to the silent, untouched beaches of the Exumas, we invite you to explore a world defined by the sea. Welcome to the Bahamas. To understand the Bahamas, one must look beneath the surface. The islands are actually the exposed tops of two massive underwater limestone platforms, the Great and Little Bahama Banks. These banks are ancient, formed over millions of years by the skeletal remains of marine organisms. This limestone geology is the secret behind the mesmerizing water. The white calcium carbonate sand reflects the sunlight up through the shallow waters, creating that signature electric blue hue that dazzles the eye. But the geology holds darker, deeper secrets. The islands are riddled with blue holes, sinkholes filled with water that plunge hundreds of feet into the earth. Dean's Blue Hole on Long Island, plunging 202 meters down, is a cathedral for freedivers and a mystery for geologists. These underwater cave systems are time capsules, preserving fossils from an era when ocean levels were much lower, and these caves were dry land. Contrasting these shallow, sunlit banks is the tongue of the ocean, a deep oceanic trench separating Andros and New Providence. Here, the depth drops from a few feet to over 6,000 feet almost instantly. This dramatic wall supports a thriving ecosystem where deep-sea giants meet the colorful creatures of the reef, making the Bahamas one of the most biodiverse marine environments on the planet. Long before the cruise ships and luxury resorts, these islands were the home of the Lucayans, a peaceful branch of the Taino people. They navigated these waters in dugout canoes, living in harmony with the sea. In 1492, their world changed forever when Christopher Columbus made his first landfall in the New World on the Bahamian island of San Salvador. It was a discovery for Europe, but a tragedy for the Lucayans, who were decimated by disease and slavery within decades. For over a century, the islands remained largely abandoned, a lawless labyrinth of shoals and cays perfect for ambush. This geography birthed the golden age of piracy. In the early 1700s, Nassau became the heart of the Republic of Pirates. Legendary figures like Blackbeard, Edward Teach, and Calico Jack Rackham walked these streets, governed only by their own code. The shallow waters that were treacherous for heavy Spanish galleons were perfect for the pirates' agile sloops. The British Empire eventually clamped down, sending Woodes Rogers to offer the King's Pardon or the gallows. The pirates were routed, and the Bahamas transitioned into a British colony. The architecture of Nassau, with its pastel-colored colonial buildings and stone fortresses like Fort Charlotte, stands as a testament to this era. The history continued to evolve through the arrival of American loyalists after the Revolutionary War, who brought with them enslaved Africans to work on cotton plantations. This influx of African culture became the bedrock of modern Bahamian society, shaping the language, the music, and the spirit of the nation. Nature in the Bahamas is wild, weird, and wonderful. In the Exuma cays, a surreal phenomenon has captured the world's attention: the swimming pigs of Big Major Cay. These feral pigs, originally left by sailors who intended to return and eat them, have adapted to an aquatic life, paddling out to greet visitors in hopes of a treat. It is a whimsical sight that underscores the unique relationship between the land and the sea here, but the wildlife is not always so cuddly. At Compass Cay and Bimini, nurse sharks and bull sharks patrol the waters. The Bahamas proclaimed itself a shark sanctuary in 2011, banning commercial shark fishing. As a result, the ecosystem is healthy and terrifyingly beautiful. On the rocky shores of the Allen's Cay, ancient rock iguanas looking like miniature dinosaurs bask in the sun, relics of a prehistoric time. On the southernmost island of Inagua, a different splash of color dominates. This is the nesting ground for over 80,000 West Indian flamingos, the national bird of the Bahamas. The sight of thousands of these crimson birds taking flight against a setting sun is one of nature's greatest spectacles. Beneath the waves lies the Andros Barrier Reef, the third largest living organism of its kind in the world. It is a bustling metropolis of marine life, housing everything from tiny clownfish to massive grouper. However, this beauty is fragile. Rising ocean temperatures and coral bleaching threaten these reefs, prompting a massive conservation effort by Bahamians to preserve their natural heritage for future generations. If the landscape is the body of the Bahamas, then Junkanoo is its soul. Occurring on Boxing Day and New Year's Day, Junkanoo is a masquerade held in the early hours of the morning. It is an explosion of color and sound. The rhythm is hypnotic, driven by goatskin drums, cowbells, and whistles. Elaborate costumes, painstakingly crafted from cardboard and crepe paper over months, dance through the streets of Nassau. It is a celebration of freedom, rooted in the days of slavery, when enslaved people were given 3 days off at Christmas to celebrate with their families. This vibrant culture extends to the plate. Bahamian cuisine is a love letter to the ocean. The undisputed king of the kitchen is the conch, pronounced conch. This large sea snail is prepared in endless ways: cracked, battered and fried, scorched, spiced and raw, or in a chowder. But the most iconic dish is fresh conch salad. Watching a vendor prepare it is a show in itself. Dicing fresh conch, onions, tomatoes, and peppers at lightning speed, then dousing it all in sour orange and lime juice. It is fresh, spicy, and undeniably Bahamian. Life here moves to a rake and scrape beat, a traditional music style utilizing a carpenter's saw, a goatskin drum, and an accordion. Whether in a church choir or a backyard barbecue, the Bahamian people exude a warmth and resilience that is as inviting as the climate. The Bahamas offers a tale of two very different experiences. On New Providence Island and Paradise Island, you find the high-energy pulse of tourism. Resorts like Atlantis and Baha Mar are cities unto themselves, featuring casinos, water parks, and luxury shopping. This is the engine of the Bahamian economy, attracting millions of visitors annually who seek the comfort of world-class amenities. But hop on a small plane or a mailboat and you enter a different universe, the Out Islands, also known as the Family Islands. In the Abacos, colonial villages with candy-striped lighthouses mirror the aesthetic of New England, but with palm trees. In Eleuthera, the glass window bridge offers a stunning visual of the turbulent dark blue Atlantic crashing against the calm turquoise Caribbean Sea, separated by a strip of rock only 30 feet wide. In Harbor Island, the sands are not white, but pink, dusted with the crushed shells of microscopic coral insects called foraminifera. Life in the Out Islands is slow. There are no traffic lights and often no people for miles. It is a place where you can walk on a beach for hours and see only your own footprints. This contrast between the glitz of Nassau and the silence of the cays is what makes the country so versatile. It caters to the high roller and the hermit alike. The Bahamas is a place of breathtaking beauty, but it is also a land of resilience. Living in the hurricane belt means the islanders have faced devastation, most notably with Hurricane Dorian in 2019. Yet, like the mangroves that protect their shores, the Bahamian people stand firm against the storms, rebuilding with a spirit that cannot be broken. As the sun sets over the horizon, painting the sky in violets and oranges, one realizes that the true treasure of these islands wasn't the gold the pirates sought. The treasure is the lifestyle, the community, and the pristine environment that remains one of the last great wildernesses of the Atlantic. Whether you seek adventure in the depths of a blue hole, the rhythm of the Junkanoo drum, or simply the peace of a silent beach, the Bahamas waits with open arms. It is a reminder that in a busy world, there are still places where time slows down and the ocean washes away the worries of the day. This is the Bahamas.